is
that.
the biggest misconception people have about art direction that you've come across?
Well, it's hard to say. The first season, we were on the Chosen, and James and I were going around to the events, with Dallas and the producers and stuff. And I kept, trying to push people. This is James. This is the production designer. And he kept going like, people don't know who the production designer is. They don't even know what that means,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, they don't know what art director means. If they don't know what production designer means, they don't know what art director means. So it's one of those things that is kind of convoluted as it's gone from, a small feature to a studio film. What does an art director do? What does a production designer do? I think at this point, it's more like, let's just educate everybody on that. There is a production designer. They're amazing. And, these are the jobs they do. And all the people below them help him get that done, And so in some cases, they can afford to have an art director. In some cases, they can afford to have 3. So in season 4, I was creative art director and we had a supervising art director. And as a creative art director, I'm doing just the sets, all the builds, all of the concepts for everything that has to be created, So, and because of the amount of time, I'm working and getting things to construction, days before they need them, and then I'm on to the next thing to get them days before they need it. My whole year doesn't slow down until we get to near the very end when there's just no more to build, and then we have to start cleaning up and preparing and, what is strike and, how is all this can exit. And luckily for me and James, we don't have to stick around for strike. We've got lots of people, but people that we trust, Andrew and his lead man. And, these people are going to get everything back to where it goes.
Is it like a storage facility that you guys keep things for future seasons?
Yeah. I mean, they've got an entire set dressing building, an outbuilding that's huge, 46,000 square feet or something like that. And there's a mill. And there's a wardrobe, hair and makeup wardrobe building, and then a multi-purpose building where we have a cafe where we eat our lunches and stuff. So there's 4 outbuildings and a sound stage. And the sound stage was, I think, 60,000 square feet, I think.
That's actually really, really cool.
And they're building another one right now.
So I think what's interesting about it is when you got onto the show, was it already a big hit? Or did you get to see the rise of it become popular?
I got to witness the rise. It was already on its way, but I was there as it just, just started going over the top. It was great.
To give people an idea of how big this show is, myself and our technical producer, if Jay, you want to cut to the Y, they give us a little peace sign. We work at a movie theater. And for the last 2 years of my professional career as a film projectionist, every so often we get a chosen premiere that shows up. And they screen the first 2 episodes or first 3 episodes, depending, of the brand new season. They did it with season 2, 3, and 4. And it is packed. There's a ton of people who come through. The theater sells out. I'll be honest, they're very clean. So thank you, chosen audience members, for leaving your theaters clean. Please continue to do so. Awesome. But it's really fun. And it's crazy that is first off happening. It's such a popular show. They're like, we're going to do our premieres in theaters. They're getting sellout tickets, which is amazing. And then on top of that, I get to speak to somebody from that show. So it's kind of like a full circle surreal. Yeah. And now I want to finish that circle by saying how does that feel knowing that your work is seen at such a large scale by so many people?
I don't know. I mean, just like any of you guys. I mean, we're all in film.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, but it's we don't think about it much because
Fair.
we have all been on big shows and they go on and do $500 million budgets and they go on and do great things. But to be a part of this show, I think is meant a little bit more to me, different than the other ones because of the build. That it wasn't so big at the beginning, and then it just built and built and built.
So
and
your
built.
budget got bigger with
and the budgets got bigger too, which was great because we needed it, and just to maintain the speed in which they want to try and get this stuff out to the fans is that it takes money, and if we've got a city, a city's got to be dressed, or we're taking and robbing from one set to dress another set, and there's only a day between. And it doesn't always work when we've got so many sets and so many places to be. So we had to get more dressing, more set dressing, more sets, more, all this stuff, and just keeps adding up so that we can get these deadlines, so that we can get this stuff to the theater for the fans, which is awesome. And I love it that they're doing the Fathom events at all these theaters.
It's popular, man. It's very popular.
It is. It's great. And, I'm a big fan of the show. So,
and I mean, okay, so add to that now. Is there any advice you'd give to someone who's starting out in the art department, or someone who's trying to get into the art department, or currently in a very similar situation to yourself, trying to like handle the chaos and the grace that comes with it? Is there any advice or industry insights you'd love to share with them?
Planning. The more time you can plan, the better. I mean, especially when you're young and you're just doing, starting out, you realize that if you're going to make a feature film or even a short film, you're working a lot ahead of time. You're prepping so much. It's not just about principal photography the day on set. It's all leading up to it. So whatever you're working on, every art director should be planning, get as much out and in front of the executive producers, the directors, the writers as you possibly can at the very beginning, so they can make decisions so that you've got more time to get everything accomplished. So it's all about, setting those expectations.
I love that. I think that's a very fair point for every department as well.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you put an idea out there, the quicker you do that, the quicker it's going to get notes, the quicker you can go back to the drawing board, and you realize that process is never going to be, let me spend a ton of time perfecting it before I show it, because then they have the opportunity to say no and you've lost all that time.
Yeah.
But the quicker you start that back and forth, the quicker you're both going to find that middle ground and then nail it in.